Hello everyone. Welcome to the Bright Minds channel. Today we'll show you the 10 deadliest planes of World War II. The Junkers Ju-87, also known as the Stuka, was a German dive bomber and ground attack aircraft. It was designed by Hermann Pohlmann, and first flew in 1935. The German Luftwaffe used the Stuka from 1937 to 1945, especially during the first half of World War II. The Stuka was equipped with a propeller-driven siren on each undercarriage leg. The sirens were known as Jericho Trumpet and gave the Stuka a terrifying reputation. The Junkers Ju-87 was designed to employ the dive bombing technique, that is diving on the target at a steep angle and releasing the bombs at low altitude for maximum accuracy before breaking away. The craft was first used by German pilots in the Spanish Civil War and then in the invasions of Poland, the Low Countries, and France. The Republic P-47 Thunderbolt was the largest single-engine piston fighter ever produced. It was used by the Allied Air Forces as a high-altitude fighter and a low-level fighter bomber. It had the most firepower from its 8.50 caliber guns in its wings and was capable of carrying 10 5-inch rockets or a bomb load of as much as 3,000 pounds. The P-47 quickly gained a reputation for ruggedness. Its sturdy construction and air-cooled radial engine enabled it to absorb severe battle damage and keep flying. More than 15,600 Thunderbolts were manufactured between 1941 and 1945. The P-51 Mustang was a single-seat, single-engine fighter aircraft used by the U.S. Army Air Forces during World War II. It was introduced in 1944 and 8,000 were produced. P-51 was used as a long-range escort fighter and ground attack fighter bomber. It had excellent range and maneuverability. The Mustang was designed in April 1940 by a team headed by James H. Kindleberger of North American Aviation, in response to a requirement for the British Royal Air Force. They were typically equipped with 2.50 caliber nose-mounted and 4.30 caliber wing-mounted machine guns. Members of the 332nd Fighter Group painted the tails of their P-51 Mustang red, thus earning the name Red Tails, and they flew with distinction, mostly as bomber escorts in Europe. The P-51 was used in World War II and the Korean War, and is widely regarded by many aviation historians as the finest all-around piston-engine fighter of World War II. The Lockheed P-38 Lightning was a single-seat, twin-engine fighter aircraft used by the United States Army Air Forces during World War II. A large and powerful aircraft, it served as a bomber escort, a tactical bomber, and a photo reconnaissance platform. The P-38 had many strengths, including a distinctive twin-boom design, a pressurized cockpit, a tricycle landing gear and speed, range, firepower, and versatility. It was well armed, with a nose-mounted 20mm cannon and 4.50 caliber machine guns. It also had hardpoints for bombs and rockets, making it versatile in ground attack missions. Several famous American aces achieved notable victories while flying P-38s, including Richard Bong and Thomas Maguire, who became two of the top-scoring aces in U.S. military history. 10,037 P-38s were built. Today, 26 survive, with 22 located in the United States and 10 airworthy. The Messerschmitt BF 109 was a German World War II fighter aircraft. It was the primary aircraft of the Luftwaffe. The Bf 109 was first used in 1937 during the Spanish Civil War and was still in service at the end of World War II in 1945. It was credited with more aerial kills than any other aircraft. 105 Bf 109 pilots were credited with the destruction of 100 or more enemy aircraft. 13 of these men scored more than 200 kills, while 2 scored more than 300. The Bf 109 was designed on the principle of small frame, enormous power plant. It was armed with 2 wing-mounted 20mm MGFF cannons and 2 car-mounted 7.92mm MG machine gun. The BF-109 is considered one of the most iconic and successful fighter aircraft of World War II. Its design influenced later fighter aircraft, and it remains a symbol of German air power during the war. The Supermarine Spitfire was a British single-seat fighter aircraft, used by the Royal Air Force and other Allied countries before, during, and after World War II. It was one of the most popular fighter aircraft of the war. The Spitfire was critical in defeating Luftwaffe air attacks during the Battle of Britain in 1940. It served in every major front throughout World War II. It was one of the fastest fighters of its time and had excellent maneuverability, thanks to its elliptical wing design. Many renowned fighter aces, such as Douglas Bader and Johnny Johnson, achieved numerous victories flying Spitfires. The Spitfire was armed with a combination of .303-inch Browning machine guns and later versions incorporated 20mm Hispano cannons for increased firepower. 20,351 Spitfires were built between 1938 and 1948. Around 240 are known to exist today, of which around 60 are airworthy. The Supermarine Spitfire's combination of speed, agility, and firepower made it one of the most iconic and effective fighter planes of World War II. The Mitsubishi A6M Zero was a long-range, carrier-based fighter aircraft used by the Imperial Japanese Navy during World War II. It was the first carrier-based fighter that could beat its land-based opponents. The Zero was the most maneuverable plane and best dogfighter in the war. It had a service ceiling of 38,520 feet and a range of 1,194 miles. The A6M Zero was primarily used as a carrier-based fighter, and it played a pivotal role in the early Japanese offensives in the Pacific, including the attack on Pearl Harbor. As the war progressed, the Zero's weaknesses became apparent, as it lacked heavy armor and self-sealing fuel tanks, making it increasingly vulnerable to enemy fire. The Zero remains a symbol of Japanese air power during World War II and is featured in numerous films, books, and documentaries. The Grumman F6F Hellcat was a carrier-based fighter aircraft used by the United States Navy during World War II. The F6F Hellcat was designed to meet and beat the Japanese Zero, and defend Navy fleets against kamikaze attacks. The Hellcat was the U.S. Navy's dominant fighter in the second half of the Pacific War. It was well armed with 6.50 caliber M2 Browning machine guns and had the ability to carry a variety of air-to-ground and air-to-air ordnance. Hellcats were credited with destroying a total of 5,223 enemy aircraft while in service. This was more than any other Allied naval aircraft. The Vought F4U Corsair was a high-performance fighter aircraft that was used in World War II and the Korean War. It was the first American fighter to exceed 400 miles per hour and the first to have a 2,000 horsepower engine. It was a fighter and a bomber aircraft that could carry up to 8 rockets or 4,000 pounds of explosive ordnance. It had a wingspan of 41 feet, a length of 34 feet. It became one of the most capable carrier-based aircraft of World War II. Some Japanese pilots regarded it as the most formidable American fighter of World War II, and its naval aviators achieved an 11-to-1 kill ratio. The Corsair served almost exclusively as a fighter bomber throughout the Korean War and during the French colonial wars in Indochina and Algeria. The F4U Corsair is celebrated as one of the most iconic and effective fighter aircraft of its era. It is known for its distinctive appearance and the whistling death sound it made during high-speed dives. The Boeing B-29 Superfortress was a 4-engined, propeller-driven heavy bomber used by the United States during World War II and the Korean War. It was the most sophisticated bomber of its time, with advanced armament, propulsion, and avionics systems. The B-29 was also the first bomber to house its crew in pressurized compartments. The B-29 was heavily armed with machine guns and had a maximum bomb capacity of 16,000 pounds. Some variants were modified to carry the atomic bombs. The B-29s were used for firebombing Tokyo and other Japanese cities and dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, on August 6 and 9, 1945. The Superfortress is celebrated for its role in ending World War II and its contributions to the development of strategic bombing doctrine. It represents a significant technological advancement in aviation during its time.